Absolutely. Drew Titan, Bronze on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we back in the cave, y'all. It's Friday. We in the cave. Hell yeah. Y'all know we got to give boxing a rest, man. We're going to stretch out our legs. We had some fun this morning. And make sure y'all smash that like button. Y'all like and share this video. This is the Nerd Channel, and let's get it, man. See, we got in the building so far. Michael Fleming. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna get this channel more established, and then I'm gonna open up the panel on the topics. And this ain't gonna be the only time we visit wrestling. We're gonna have to come back to this several times. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I want to get this more established, man. I want to get it more established, and then I'll gladly open up the panel. As a matter of fact, next time I talk wrestling, because normally when I'm doing a show on any of my channels, I'll put out the topic the night before, like pep talk. I'll put out the topic for pep talk sometime today. You know what I mean? So next time I talk wrestling, I put it out. All you got to do is go in the chat and let me know you want to hop on. I'll definitely let you hop on. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say with all my topics, I don't know everything. I know what I've personally witnessed. You know what I mean? And wrestling is an instrumental part in American entertainment. And this is why I put this man on this meme, because he became wrestling. And a lot of cats that were born in the 90s or born in the 2000s, they don't know the depth of Hulk Hogan, aka Terry Bollea. They don't know his life, his career. This guy brought wrestling mainstream. So we're just gonna touch on a few things. And he had a few runs in the business. And his final run on the right side, this was actually after his 80's run, you didn't think it would get any bigger than that. And he reinvented himself, and it was just insane. So absolutely, Michael Fleming. When we get back to this, you're more than welcome to come on. G. McCall, Kane the Bad Guy, Sam Mack, Shogun, Robert Singleton, The Village Brother, Joseph Wiggins, Shamar Vashon Shalom, Macados Mac of the South, Young Deezy, Mind of Mansa Musa, what's good? Rod Neal, Hand Dog, Thomas, what's good? Tim TV, Sam Mack. Yep. So let's get to it. I sent the link to my brother Ack. I don't know if he probably worked late or whatever. You know what I mean? And salute to Hulk Hogan, because he's recently going through something with his son, I believe. You know, his son, his son is going through something. I'll say that. Son is going through something. He I think it was drunk driving. Yeah. So the actual body cam with Hulk responding to the police, having to lock his son up, is actually on YouTube. Shit is rough, bro. But salute to Mr. Bollea. Shade Girl, salute. Yeah, I'm gonna get to it, Mac. And I'm gonna tell you why I love the JYD. I'm gonna tell you why I loved him. JYD looked like my uncle. JYD looked like my uncle. He looked just like my uncle. He looked just like my uncle. When I first saw him, I said, oh shit, look at that. Yeah, so he was a favorite off the bat, for real. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. I don't know why my screen looks like this.
What?
I didn't do this. So let's go down to Mr. Settings and find out what the fudge is going on. Good morning. Technical difficulties in the morning. I didn't ask for this. Let's go to the settings. Can I stretch this? This is BS, man. I'll figure it out in a minute. All right. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna leave it just like this for now. I'm gonna go back to 19. I appreciate that, Mansa Musa. I'm gonna go back to, when did I start noticing wrestling? Well, actually, Jimmy Bernard, what's going on? Actually, my dad used to watch wrestling back when the ropes were like silver or gray. And I remember watching Bob Backlund, guys like the Big Cat Ernie Ladd, Drake Lemonade, salute. Let me see, Stan the Man Stasiak, Blackjack Lanza, Blackjack Mulligan. Blackjack Lanza and Blackjack Mulligan, they have two sons that went on to become stars in the WWE. Do you know who they are? The Blackjacks, the original Blackjacks. Yeah, Sam Mack, the WWF days. Do you know? Mr. P. Dep, salute. Do you know who their sons are? A lot of these guys running around now, they're second and third generation stars. There you go, Thomas. One of them is Barry Windham. And the other one is JBL, Justin Hawk Bradshaw. Yup. Pooh, man, what's good? Jay, what's going on? Yeah. So, I was watching it back then. And I began watching it with a critical eye when Vince McMahon took it over and he added, it became more of a spectacle. And fast forward to, I remember watching a match with a big white guy with blonde hair. And I used to watch him a long time ago, but he kind of like, well, not a long, I was a kid, but I remember watching him, but he was what they call a heel. A heel. Oh, Mr. P. Depps, interesting about the British Bulldogs. Interesting about the British Bulldogs. The British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith or the Dynamite Kid. When they came to America and we saw them on our television, did you know that that wasn't the first time the Dynamite Kid was on American shores competing? He had an ongoing feud with a Japanese wrestler by the name of Tiger Mask, who's really, that character is very, very popular in Japan. There's been several Tiger Masks. There was several wrestlers that wore the Tiger Mask. And he wrestled Tiger Mask several times in the old WWF. I've seen them. And when he came back when the Dynamite Kid came back with Davey Boy Smith, that was unlike something that we've never seen anything like that, because they were big guys and they were fast. They were great entertainers. And I remember they had a feud with Greg the Hammer Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. And they always used to beat them. I used to be so pissed until WrestleMania II, but we'll get to that. The first time I saw Hulk Hogan, he wasn't called Hulk Hogan. His name was Terry Boulder, if I'm not mistaken. And he had a feud with Tony Atlas. And he was managed by Classy Freddie Blassie. Remember him? And then he disappeared for a little while. And forgive me if I get some of the timeline messed up, because a lot of this is off the tip of my head. He disappeared for a while, and I found out later that he went to the AWA. I didn't know about the AWA for a while. I found out about the AWA when I went down south to Cloud Boy, what's good? When I went down south to a relative's house during the summer, and he turned on wrestling, and then I just saw a whole new array of characters, and I was like, damn. And there was Hulk Hogan, and he was feuding with a guy by the name of Nick Bockwinkel, and he was the good guy, aka the babyface. Hulk Hogan was. And yeah. So then, of course, I come home, and then he pops up in the WWF. And I said, oh, that's the dude. That's the dude. And he, he's Hulk Hogan now, right? Or whatever, And I saw him as Terry Boulder, and then he popped up in the AWA as Hulk Hogan. Then he came back to the WWF as Hulk Hogan. Along that time, Bob Backlund was a champion for I don't know how long. But then a guy named the Iron Sheik beat Bob Backlund for the title. He beats Bob Backlund, and he's like this superhero, this super heel. And he has the gimmick where he has his bald head, and he's a big old strong guy, and we were feuding with the Middle East back then. And Stormy, salute. And it was like lightning in a bottle, because everybody hated him. And Bob Backlund was like the quiet, soft-spoken. He was a champion, he was a guy you can actually, root for. But wrestling was going through a change, and Vince McMahon saw something in this guy. Back then, Hulk Hogan, he was listed as about 6'7" back then. I know he's had several back surgeries, so he's shorter. All those years of taking those bumps. But he was a big dude. He was over 300 pounds, and he was just Vince loved those giant guys, right? Pause. And he got his opportunity against the Sheik. And I don't remember, it may have been at Madison Square Garden, I don't remember. But he pinned him, and that was when Hulkamania began. Right there at that moment, he pinned the Iron Sheik, and he went on a tear. And yeah, Thomas was at MSG, right? Okay. So he wins the title. Yeah, Shogun, Superstar Billy Graham. Yeah, Hogan needs to thank Superstar Billy Graham. Yeah, Thomas, I know about it. MXC, salute. I know about it. Yeah, I know, but there's so much I want to get through. Yeah, we could do a whole show on Hulk Hogan alone. I just want to paint the picture about how instrumental he was, but wrestling began to take on its own face. But he was the guy that brought wrestling mainstream, and that was when I was getting a little older. and it became a part of American culture. It became pop culture. You know what I mean? And yeah, Brian A, salute. Good morning. And it was a sight. ES, salute, sis. So Hulkamania started right there. And, you know, I remember, say your prayers, eat your vitamin, say your prayers, and salute to the USA. And rock music was popular back then. And I remember Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. He had a cartoon on Saturday mornings. And there was a bunch of heels versus a bunch of baby faces. Hogan and his friends. Junkyard Dog. Andre the Giant at first. Jimmy Snuka. Ricky Steamboat. You know what I mean? And then another man that was very popular at the time was Mr. T. He was casted in Rocky III. And a lot of y'all don't know about Mr. T. He used to win tough guy competitions. He could like really fight. He could really fight. And he had a unique look. And somebody in Hollywood said, yo, we could market this guy. And how he talked, very marketable. He was in Rocky III, completely stole the show. And then they threw him on the A-Team. You know, as an actor, he was typecasted. But if you notice in Rocky III, who else was in Rocky III? Hulk Hogan. That's right, Young Deezy, the almighty Thunder Lips. Funny, very funny, man. So Mr. T and Sylvester Stallone and Hulk Hogan, they all got tight from that. You know, yeah, Harvey, say woman. Say woman. So Mr. T and Hulk Hogan got real tight. And he was like, well, you know, we got this thing coming up called WrestleMania. And I don't know the particulars behind that, but Vince McMahon had to capitalize on that popularity. So Hulk Hogan was feuding with Roddy Piper, and Roddy Piper's stable. He had a bodyguard, Cowboy Bob Orton, which is Randy Orton's father. And their good buddy, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, rest in power to him. I follow his son on Instagram. His son, I want to try and get his son on the show soon. Akonda, what up, brother? And nah, Pooh, man, Tiny Lister wasn't in Rocky III. Tiny Lister didn't come along until like much later. Tiny Lister was in No Holds Barred, Hulk Hogan's solo movie. Yeah, Marcus Walsh, salute. So I remember going to a show. My dad took me to a live show before WrestleMania. It was in Madison Square Garden. And it was leading up to WrestleMania. And it was Roddy Piper came out, right? There's my brother. Hold on. How do I do this? What the fudge? All right.
Yo, what's good? You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. There you go.
My bad. I don't know why my alarm didn't go off. I always try to take like a little nap before I come on, because I come in straight from work. My bad.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
I'm ready for you though.
All right, cool. So you came in on time. I'm just giving a brief history on how Hulk Hogan made things popular from the 80s. But Hulk Hogan has been wrestling since the late 70s, right? But I'm at the part leading up to WrestleMania I.
Okay.
And James, what up? Adele Alexander. So watch this. I go to this event. My dad brings me and my brother to this event. It was the lead up to WrestleMania. So Roddy Piper's in the ring. And he's saying, yo, look, Mr. T, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You're not a wrestler. All right? If you do this is what's going to happen to you. And he starts pulling out these pictures, these paintings of Mr. T all broke up in the cast with his arms broke up. It was funny as hell. But Mr. T pulled up on him. And he came to the ring and Piper snuffed him, right? And then Hogan and Snooker ran out. We didn't even know they were there. These were the main eventers. And the place erupted, and it actually turned into a bout. But Mr. T didn't participate. But it turned into a bout. And it was dope. So WrestleMania I was at Madison Square Garden. And that's where we at right now. So let me add this to the stage. This was the card for WrestleMania I. That's the actual poster. Did you ever watch WrestleMania
I? I don't think I ever watched it, Drew. I seen clips and stuff of it, and I had seen like stuff where they had Mr. T in it. I didn't realize how involved he was.
Yeah, bro.
I think maybe I need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, definitely. Because this right here, this was 1985, bro. I was 10 years old, and I remember this like it was yesterday. This was groundbreaking because I remember I told you, Mr. T was a star in the 80s. Coming off of Rocky 3, and he was on the 18 TV show. Him and Hulk Hogan were on Saturday Night Live. That was hilarious. If you put in Hulk Hogan and Mr. T on Saturday Night Live, that was some funny shit. That was some funny shit. There was a dude acting like Prince. Quick story. They did a skit on Saturday Night Live where they were the bodyguards for Prince. And back in the day, they did a song called We Are the World. All the major artists from all genres, country, rock, R&B, they all formed like a unity song called We Are the World. And it was like to end hunger in Africa somewhere, starving children in Africa or some shit, right? And they did We Are the World. And every Michael Jackson was on that track. And everyone noticed that, wait a minute, why ain't Prince on this track? Because Prince was also big in the 80s. And the joke was, he thought he was too big to work with everybody. That was a joke. That really wasn't true. I don't think they ever asked him, though. He just wasn't on it. So the skit on Saturday Night Live was Prince comes into the studio and his bodyguards are Hogan and Mr. T. And he grabs the mic and starts singing, I am the world. Like he's saying like, I'm better than everybody. Yes. And Mr. T and Hogan is standing there with their arms folded. It was fucking funny, man. It was funny, man. It was funny. So Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, they were the 80s. And this is the actual card. This was the actual card. The main event was Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. And Piper and Orndorff had Cowboy Bob Orton in their corner. And Mr. T and Hogan came out with Jimmy Snuka. And man, this I didn't go to WrestleMania I in person. They had something called closed circuit. And they was playing this thing in movie theaters. That's how we saw it. I remember the infamous body slam match. That was Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd. Big John Studd said, I've never been body slammed. I've never been body slammed. And I'm going to body slam Andre the Giant. I'm gonna take him down. And there was it was a significant amount of money on the line. And Bobby Heenan came to the ring with money in a bag. And Andre the Giant said, would I win? I'm going to take the money and throw it out into the audience. So it was 15 grand. Thank you, Thomas. So he's fighting John Studd. They're going back and forth. And he actually body slams Big John Studd. He snatches the bag of money and he really started throwing that shit into the crowd.
Damn.
And then that's I'm telling you. And then Bobby Heenan ran into the ring and grabbed the bag and ran out. And thank you, Thomas. And that was for the infamous haircut. Andre the Giant had a notorious afro. And he tag teamed with my brother SD Special Delivery Jones. I actually worked out with him a few times. He lived right here in Mount Vernon, close to me.
Yeah,
And
I know what Mount
yeah,
Vernon is.
I didn't know he was that big until I like met him. He was like 6'5". I said, "Holy shit!" He looked small on TV, and he was actually from I think he was from St. Thomas. I had never heard him talk until that moment. I said, "Shit, you from the islands?" My God. So he tag team with SD Jones versus Stud and Bundy. And they jumped him and knocked they jumped SD, knocked him out. Then they knocked out Andre the Giant and cut his hair. And that was the feud. That was a big thing. So WrestleMania I was where it started, man. This was it right here. So you had Andre the Giant versus Stud. You had Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo versus the Sheik and Volkov. Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. You had Greg Valentine versus Junkyard Dog. That was a hell of a goddamn feud right there. You had David Sammartino, son of the legend Bruno Sammartino, versus Brutus Beefcake. Did you know Brutus Beefcake and Hulk Hogan are related?
Like actually in real life,
Yeah,
or they just
like,
because I know sometimes they would make people related.
Nah, they related in real life.
Okay,
they related in real life, yeah.
And Jimmy Superfly Snuka, that's the Rock cousin. That's the same one that's the Rock's cousin.
Yeah, listen, all of those Samoans are related somehow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like his mom's side of the family is worse than mine.
Yo, bro, I think yo, crazy, because I didn't know Samoans were real people back then. I didn't know that. I thought they was made up. But there was a tag team group called the Wild Samoans in the early WWF days.
Don't tell me those was his cousins too.
Sika and Alpha. You know the Usos?
They sound familiar. I probably gotta look at a picture.
Bro, those are like his grandkids or some shit. Rikishi, all of those niggas are related.
Yeah, I know him and Rikishi.
I think the Usos are I think the Usos are Rikishi's kids or some shit.
Oh, them, the twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are yeah. That's his cousin. I think Jimmy Superfly Snukum's daughter. She wrestles. That's the Rock's cousin. So he still got family there. It's not just back then. He still got family.
Yeah,
he's still in the game. It's crazy.
It's crazy. All of those guys are related somehow. Even The Rock. Shit is crazy. Yeah, Mr. P. Depps, you got to pardon our American ignorance. Listen, I grew up in New York. And Thomas, you know, bro. Listen, everybody Asian was Chinese, right? They all knew Kung Fu or karate. They all had delayed speech, right? Samoans were just running around wrestling. I didn't know they were. Listen, I was 10. I didn't know. I had no idea. I did not know. I was super ignorant. I had a childhood.
I feel you though, bro.
I didn't know. Everybody that spoke Spanish was Puerto Rican. I'm from New York. Everybody listen. I was a child, man. It was all about G.I. Joe, wrestling, Transformers, and school was part-time. I didn't give a fuck. I'll just do my homework and, come on, I was super ignorant. We didn't know, man. I had a childhood. Everything was fantasy. I was 10, you know what I'm saying? I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Quiet Storm salute. Listen, I had to learn about Malcolm X in my house. They weren't teaching about Malcolm X in school. You know what they'll teach? P-Dubs, you know what they're teaching us in school? That Christopher Columbus discovered America. The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean,
I ain't gonna lie. They taught me that too, but by the time I went to school, they started saying stuff about Malcolm X.
Yo, in the 80s,
probably not in your day.
Nope.
By the time, yeah. I believe you.
Yep.
Because look, my generation, we didn't even have to dissect the frog. That probably ended with your era.
It did. I dissected a frog and a fish. Yep. A porgy fish and a frog. I remember doing that. They stopped that shit. You know what I'm saying? But we were super. Yeah, P. Depps. I don't know what the education system was like in the UK, but I know over here, we were super ignorant, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. We were super ignorant. Super ignorant. I ain't know shit. You know, my parents had to teach us, man. He had to teach us, yo. I was like, who's Malcolm X? Yeah, they Dr. King'd us to death. And that's by design. That's a whole nother show. All right, the Dr. King, take the Jesus route. Go upside your head with a brick in a bottle and don't fight back. Malcolm X was like, nah, fuck that. I will blow your eyeballs out the back of your fitted cap. You throw a bottle at me. They didn't want us learning that. They want us to be peaceful. That was conditioning, but that's a whole nother show. But you know what else pissed me off about WrestleMania I act? I'm gonna tell you. It was the debut of a wrestler by the name. Yeah, Quiet Storm. I'm gonna do the Dr. King show. Hell yeah, on Pep Talk. The King. It was the debut of King Kong Bundy. WrestleMania I. You want to know why that pissed me off to no end? It is the fastest match probably in wrestling history on that stage, the first WrestleMania. And I'm going to tell you the story about that. King Kong Bundy. You ever seen him before, Act?
I'm gonna look him up now. Why I don't remember? See?
I got
a lot
pictures.
Of these wrestlers I remember, but I don't remember.
I got pictures.
Maybe because of my mom. Because my mom loved to wrestle.
Yeah.
You know, and she, you know, she liked the both sides, like the NWA, and she liked the WWF.
Yeah.
So
check this shit out. King Kong Bundy comes into the ring. He's an anomaly. He looks like Butterbean before Butterbean. Big, fat, bald, white guy. And this is WrestleMania.
Okay, I think it looks all right. I think it's coming to me now.
And this motherfucker, he fights SD Jones. Now, of course, I'm like, all right. And SD Jones was well known, but he was a bit of a jobber. A jobber is the guy you know that's going to lose. It's like the big A-list wrestler comes to the ring and he's fighting some guy named Bob Smith. You're like, God damn it, you already know Bob's going to lose, right? Oh, I don't know, Mr. P. Depps. I'm going to find out, though. The bell rings. SD bounces off the ropes, runs towards him. King Kong grabs him in a bear hug, throws him on the floor, splashes him. 1, 2, 3, the fight's over in 8 seconds. And my father, he says, come on, why they do the brother like that? I remember that. I said, damn. Now, years later, I'm working out at a gym. And I look, and there's SD Jones. Now, I told y'all before, SD Jones' son went to high school with my older brother. Went to high school with him. So years after that, I see SD work in rest in peace to SD Jones. He died a few years ago. But I ran into him at the gym. I said, excuse me, you're SD Jones? He said, yeah. I said, your son went to school with my brother. So yeah. I said, so we're talking. He says, oh man, you should go up to Connecticut, go talk to Vince. You're a big guy. I said, no, I ain't doing all that. You know, but we was talking. And I had to ask him. I asked him a few things. I said, you know, what's it like being black in the industry? And he told me some things. You know, it's gotten better. You know, certain towns is a little different. You know, not only when you're black, but when you're not white. You could be Latin. You could be black. You could be Tongan. You know, if you're not white, certain towns, it's annoying. But I asked him. I said, brother, you got to tell me about WrestleMania I, because you went out fast, bro. And he said, well, here's the deal. Vince McMahon went to a few guys and asked them to job to King Kong Bundy like that. And they told him no. The reason why They asked him the job. They went to Tito Santana. He said no. They went to Ricky Steamboat. He said no. They went to Junkyard Dog. He said no. But they're all on the card. They all fought there, right? He went to SD Jones. And SD Jones wasn't a main eventer, but he was a known guy. He also had a more serious run in the NWA or AWA, one of the two. And Vince said, yo, could you do this for me? And he says, SD says, well, you know what, Vince? Because SD wasn't on the WrestleMania card at all. He wasn't on the card. So he says, look, can you do this for me? Because we're trying to push this guy. And he says, you know, Vince, okay, I'll do it. Joseph says AWA, yeah, it should, yeah. It was one of those two. It was one of the two. And Beezy, what up? So he jobbed. And he said Vince not only paid him, but he gave him a little bit of back-end money in a bag off the books. And Vince told him, don't tell anyone I gave you this. He gave him like 150 grand in cash.
I gotta look up how much that was in 85.
Bro,
I'm about to look it up now.
SD told me, and this is what he told me. Steve L, salute. This is what he told me. He took that money and that house that he has in Mount Vernon, he bought it outright. I don't know if the Jones family still lives there, but I had this conversation with him. That had to have been 2002, 2003, when I was talking to SD Jones. Had to have been around there. And it was probably no. It was before 9/11. So this was 2001-ish, early 2000. He told me this story, and I'll never forget it. I could be wrong about it. Was 6 figures he gave him, and he bought the house that is somewhere in Mount Vernon somewhere. He bought it outright, and he never told anybody. So he got paid to job, and then Vince gave him an additional 6 figures in a bag in cash, and he says, SD, don't tell anyone I gave you this. And that was his thank you. So he made the card and he jobbed. It was the fastest match. And as a black person, we were pissed. We were like, yo, why they do the brother like that? Years later, I called my father. I know the story. I know, but you know, the man's passed, and me personally, I think that the story, it needs to be heard. It needs to be heard, you know, because for years, man, we were like, yo, when we came to school that Monday, all of my friends who were black, we were like, man, why they do SD Jones like that, though? And we were like 10. We was like, God damn, why they do that? And all the way in 2000, he tells me the story. Rest in power to SD Jones. But this was WrestleMania I. It was groundbreaking. And they pushed King Kong Bundy. He was supposed to be a giant. He was with the Heenan family. You know, him, Big John Studd, Ken Patera, Paul Orndorff. You know what I mean? And it was a great thing. I mean, this was my childhood, and it was great. And thank you, Quiet Storm. Quiet Storm. Thank you for that. So WrestleMania I actually set up WrestleMania II. Well, this is a picture from WrestleMania I. This is the ring walk. That's Mr. T, Hulk Hogan, and Jimmy Snuka there on the right. You know what I mean? Derek Gaines, still the legend. Salute. Now, this was WrestleMania II, the steel cage. They debuted that new steel cage right there. There you see on the right. That's King Kong Bundy. And this is after they jumped Hulk Hogan on Saturday night's main event a few weeks prior and broke his ribs. That's got to be on YouTube also. And again, I saw this in the theater too. And this was also groundbreaking because I never saw a steel cage like that ever. They jumped Hulk Hogan on Saturday night's main event, broke his ribs up, but he still said, "Oh, brother, I'm gonna fight him on WrestleMania." And he actually body slammed King Kong Bundy in this match. And that was like a hell of a thing because, as you can see, Bundy is not a small person. Thomas, you remember they jumped Hogan? And Bundy kept splashing him?
I remember him now. I used him a few times in Legends of Wrestling in the video game back when I was younger. I remember I used to go the West 151st, like 9th Ave. My older cousin, he used to have it. He used to. My older cousin, he like your age. He had all the games.
Yeah, man. This guy was tough, man. And they jumped Hogan.
You know how much it was to buy him in the game?
How much?
Legends costed bread, man. Nah, you didn't actually. You had to earn the tokens or whatever. And you had to, like, it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, Hogan was a lot of money, but not like King Kong Bundy. He wasn't as much as like Hogan or like the old version of Ric Flair. The NWA version, I believe Hogan and Ric Flair was the most. That old, because they had two versions of Ric Flair. They had like the Attitude Era of Ric Flair, and then they had the NWA version. You was paying bread. And I did whatever it took to get the NWA.
Yeah. We gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. This right here, like Hogan would be getting his ass beat all year long, and he got his get back at WrestleMania. And he got jumped real bad on Saturday night's main event, and he left, and they put him in an ambulance. Bundy kept splashing him. Bundy's thing was, when he'd pin you, the ref would count to 3, and he'd be like, 5, and it's an additional 2 count because he was like a giant. But he bust Bundy's ass in this match, and this was groundbreaking. Then later on, this was WrestleMania 3. Andre the Giant flipped on him and turned heel, and that was like the big oh shit because Andre was his friend. But you know, Ted DiBiase somehow got in the mix, and it was a strange time. Roddy Piper made his return, and he turned babyface, and all of a sudden Andre was like, "Yeah, I should be champion," you know, and he flipped on him, and this right here was like the passing of the torch, the changing of the guard, and Hogan versus Andre was huge. And as you can see, he body slammed his ass too. And Hogan was wrestling, bro.
I remember that match. I watched that one. I wasn't there, but I watched this one. Like when he body slammed him, and I was looking at Hogan like, what the hell kind of steroids are you taking to be able to slam Andre the Giant? It was crazy, man.
It was
I
insane,
think he
bro.
was hurting. They actually also showed the Andre the Giant's documentary, which was a beautiful document. It was sad. It was good, but it was like towards the end you get real sad because of this that started happening to him. But man,
this right here,
he had a
this
hernia.
Right here, Andre the Giant
tell
was.
Me he didn't have a hernia.
Oh man, listen.
All the
Andre the Giant
in the world.
Andre the Giant was on his way out of the business. He was old, and you know he had that disease, and he was actually taking a big job doing this. This was like the passing of the torch. Hogan says this was Andre giving him his blessings, because Hogan was always around, but everyone in the back knew that Andre was that guy, and this was like the passing of the torch, and him and Andre was like friends in real life. And this was 80s wrestling at its finest. And rest in peace to Andre the Giant. I did hear of a story about he used to drink a lot, and he had beef. He had beef.
They said a lot, Drew. A lot. You ain't doing it justice. because the dudes that came up with him said, you know how they would be drinking, but like normal dudes. Yeah. They said Andre drunk double that.
Yeah. He had a situation with a wrestler by the name of Bad News Brown when they were on the road. And Bad News actually told the story. He said this man got drunk and called me a nigger. And he said, stop the car. And he jumped out the car and he told Andre, get out. He says, I was really going to fuck him up. And I think he had a gun. And Andre didn't get out the car, whatever. They was like, nah, chill. It's on YouTube. He told the story. I said, damn. You know, so, but a lot of these guys, what people don't know is that this ain't the first time Hogan and Andre fought. These guys had whole different careers in Japan. I'll talk about that some other time. This ain't the first time they fought. This is not the first time they fought. This is totally not. They had different careers, right? But this was on our stage. And this was a big deal because Andre the Giant turned heel. That was huge. So I go down south. I'm hanging with my cousins. They're like, yo, let's watch some wrestling. And my cousins like South Carolina, Georgia, you know. So we're somewhere. I think may have been like at a family reunion or something. So they turn on wrestling. I'm thinking they turning on WWF. They turn on the AWA. And I'm like, what is this? And I had heard some things. I said, what is this? And there was a litness of a whole different cast of characters I've never seen before. And I had to find it when I came back to New York. I had to find them on the different channels. Now, many of you know, but a lot of you probably don't know. So we're going to go through these guys. Pause. Ack, on the upper left-hand side, do you know who that is in the black and white picture? You're on mute, bro.
Hell no. Who is that?
You don't know who that is?
In the black and white picture at the top. Oh, is that the that ain't the dudes from Iron Claw, is it?
No. Well, no. Oh. In the middle, that's the Von Erichs. That is absolutely correct.
Okay. I ain't gonna lie. I want to see that movie, Drew.
No, I'm gonna go see it too.
I want to see that movie because I like that skit that they I know who's at the bottom, a little bit under them in the second row, the second picture. You know how I know who they are. The Four Horsemen.
Call out who you know. Call out who you know. Call out who you know.
The Four Horsemen. I know the next guy after that is Lex Luger.
Yep.
I see the guy at the bottom. It seemed like maybe my people's was more NWA people because I see that NWA. I see at the bottom of that is what's my man name? Dusty Rhodes.
Yep.
Dusty Rhodes is under there. Yeah, so it's looking like, the 80s people that I know, maybe my family, I guess they must have watched NWA more. I think that's crazy. Now I think about it because I know these dudes more than I knew a lot of the dudes that you would talk about. I think that's it though. I think that's it. But
let's go through it. In the black and white picture, that is Mr. Perfect and Scott Hall.
Damn, Mr. Perfect is young.
Yep.
You gotta remember, Drew. I only remember old Mr. Perfect.
Yep. You remember when they had the gimmicks?
Yeah.
Right. But in the AWA, they were called Kurt Hennig and Big Scott Hall. And that's them. Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall.
That's Scott Hall over there?
That's Scott Hall, bro. That's Scott Hall. He after this, when that team broke up, he became the Diamond Stud, managed by Diamond Dallas Page.
Okay.
Yep. And then he became, Razor Ramon and, all of that stuff. On the bottom of them right there in that picture, you see Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors.
Oh, okay. You know what? See, the reason why I would have knew who they was, Drew, but the face paint wasn't as dramatic as the
as it was later
I
on.
remember seeing. Yeah,
yep.
You know what I mean.
On
and
the bottom,
is that TH Magnum right after?
That's Magnum TA.
Magnum TA. Sorry.
His career got cut short because I think he had a motorcycle accident, but he's still around. He's still alive. But he was the 80s, bro. He was this is him. He was talking about Ric Flair when he did this.
I'm gonna come on you like nobody's ever come on you before.
Pause. That's Magnum TA.
Okay.
I watched that interview. I said, "Oh shit." I said, "Wait a minute,
whose promos was better, Drew? In your mind, it's hard to beat Ric Flair to me. You know what I mean? I wasn't around him, but even when I go back and watch it, I'm just like, Ric Flair, man, that man could sell. He had to be the king of the promos. Ric
Flair had the best promos because he was the shit, and he let you know, bro. And that Four Horsemen, that run that they had a lot of fourth members, but this right here was the original Four Horsemen. That's Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and Ole Anderson, right? And James Day Dillon is in the middle.
Yeah, I was about to say it. Don't forget about the legendary James J. Dillon.
That's the guy right there. Yep. And at the top right there, you see the Von Erichs, right? And aside from the Von Erichs, that's the fabulous Freebirds. Those guys are legends. Terry Gordy, Michael P.S. Hayes, Jimmy Garvin. Then on the bottom, you see Lex Luger, right? And Bruiser Brody. I mean, the documentary about him is sad, bro. He got murdered in Puerto Rico. And the motherfucker that murdered him is not in prison. I'll just say that. Now, on the upper right-hand side, do you know who that is? Managed by Teddy Long. That's a group called the Skyscrapers. You know who that is?
No.
On the left, that's Dangerous Danny Spivey. And on the right, that's a wrestler named Mean Mark Callis. That's the Undertaker.
What?
Yeah.
It do look like a young Undertaker. Damn. Undertaker really been doing this shit all his life. He really gave his life to this.
Yeah, he did.
Dudes like Ric Flair, that's crazy.
The years go by. Now, of course, you know Rick Rude on the bottom right-hand side.
Yeah, I know Ravishing Rick Rude. My mom liked him.
Now, on the left, holding the 2 championships, you know who that is?
Nah, who are they?
That's Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, the Rockers, the Midnight Rockers.
Wow.
Yep. AWA Tag Champions.
I'm getting a history lesson. Lesson right now.
And in the middle with the face paint, you know who that is?
Is that Sting?
Yep.
One of them? One of them is Sting. I don't know who the other person is.
That's the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, wow.
They called themselves the Blade Runners.
Okay.
Yeah, Sting back then was a big dude, man. He was like massive.
Sting, he was big. He was real big in the NWA days, man.
Yeah. So
even when he was by himself, but he was bigger then.
He was wide. He was a big dude, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man, he was a big dude. Yeah, Steve L. When I do the next wrestling show, I'm gonna open up the panel, brother. Definitely. Definitely, I gotta open up the panel because this is not gonna be the first wrestling show. This is just an intro because there's so much to cover here. Every wrestler here has a history enough that you could do a show on its own. Almighty Lord, salute. I was just telling our brother Fleming earlier, man. Yeah, bro. I'm definitely open. Next wrestling show, I'm definitely open up the panel.
Tom,
I'm sure
thanks,
everybody
Drew.
has
You
something.
should have let me on. Yeah, because of the error. I already know.
For real, man. Yeah, right. Quiet, so we ain't even hit the 90s yet, but this right here, this was what because these were territories. This was the South, and Vince was up north. So it was the AWA, the NWA, and Smoky Mountain. You know what I'm saying? Jermaine, salute. Jermaine Jubilee with the suplex, my brother. I ain't forget. Akil, what up? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And
the Rock and Roll Express. Somebody brought up the Rock and Roll Express, Drew.
Oh yeah, I couldn't even fit them on here, bro. I tried.
It's so many.
There's so many. Up in Canada, you had something called Stampede Wrestling. That was Bret Hart's father's federation up there in Canada.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
man.
You know who you gotta let on, Drew? I gotta try to get him on here when you do open up the panel. Hopefully CB Sports. I know he busy now, but yo, that brother, he knows you know a lot too. But I remember I had him on my panel when I used to do wrestling shows with me and Cadillac Red, and bro, like, he is crazy. He knew about stuff before he was born.
Jermaine, do me a favor. Put your link in the chat so everyone could go subscribe. Put your link in the chat. Yeah, bro, there's people I couldn't fit on here. And we only got enough time in the day, you know what I'm saying? Because wrestling is its own thing. When I went down south, that's when I saw these guys.
Yeah.
I said, oh shit. And this was amazing. So the 90s comes along. Because wrestling went on a little bit. There you go. Thank you. Everyone go subscribe to Jermaine Jubilee. Give me a second. I think I'm subscribed already. Nope. There you go. Go subscribe to our brother Jermaine Jubilee. I'm gonna leave that right there. Matter of fact, let me I'm gonna pin that.
I remember ECW, Drew,
yep.
But I don't know if I remember your version of it. You probably gonna tell me. I remember the RVD days.
All right, now check it out. This is what happened. For me, wrestling got kind of corny. It got kind of corny. You know, you had the heel, you had the baby face, and it was just straight up. And I lost interest in it. And one day, I'm flicking channels in the MSG network right here in New York. You know, I think I was watching the Knicks games, and then when the rerun, and then I was about to turn the TV off, and then ECW comes on. I said, "Oh shit, it's wrestling." I said, "I've never seen this," and the production was shitty, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And there's a guy in there with blonde hair, and I think he was fighting Too Cold Scorpio. And I said, "Oh man, I remember that guy. He was just in WCW. What happened?" I said, "Man, he's fighting in a fucking like a barn somewhere. I mean, it looked real shitty, but I'm watching it." And I always liked Too Cold Scorpio, but there was something different. There was something different.
They brought it back.
It was something different about this, because not only was the production crappy, but the crowd was rowdy, and the match was like more aggressive, right? And I don't remember the particulars that night, but I do remember that Shane Douglas, whom I also recognized, won the NWA title. And he grabbed the mic and he gave like a little speech, and then he threw it in the garbage on some Riddick Bowe shit. And I said, what's happening here? And as I'm watching it, I noticed that the interviews were more direct. The characters were more like amped. And you know what they started doing on this thing?
And what's that?
They were kind of like cursing. You gotta understand, this is 1994. Things that is normalized now It had beginnings.
Yeah. By the time my era came, like it was like a lot of it was on so you could curse.
So what I noticed was some of these wrestlers, some of them I recognized, most I didn't. I was introduced to what they call shoot interviews. These guys all came from the bigger promotions, and then they came to ECW and started voicing, yeah, F you, Vince. You had me on the mid-cards. I never got my shot. F you, Vince McMahon. I'm like, oh, I never heard this before. They're actually talking about how they hate the bigger companies.
Okay.
I said, oh, shit. And Marty Jannetty showed up. And I remember him from the Rockers. And now Shawn Michaels' career took off. Right? Marty Jannetty, they feuded for a while, but he ain't stick around. He pops up at ECW, and he had beef with somebody. He says, you know what? I'm going to kick your ass. And I said, oh, man, what are they doing here? That's why it's on cable. And it was every Saturday. And I was tuned in. And then I saw Paul Heyman. I said, oh, I remember him. He had a clique in WCW called the Dangerous Alliance. And he was running around in ECW. And ECW changed the game. And these are some of the guys that came through ECW. ECW became a pit stop for guys that were either launching their careers or they were stars at one point or mid-carders at one point and couldn't get over the hump at the bigger companies. And then they came here and then they talk shit about the bigger companies. And they all met here. You see them. Everyone's there.
My boy, Dean Malenko, the man of 1,000 holds.
Yep. Dean Malenko came through there. Yeah, he was there.
Rob Van Dam, I already know because he's one of the first people I think of, him and Taz. Because you know that's my era. I was really little, but I remember
of these guys.
I know that they came from.
Rob Van Dam used to fight in WCW.
Is that
his
Rhino?
Gimmick that's Rhino.
Okay.
Rob Van Dam used to wrestle in WCW. I only saw him on Saturdays. His gimmick, he was like a weeded out surfer, and he wrestled barefoot. His name was Robbie V.
Didn't Stone Cold start from here, Drew?
Nah, see, I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, okay, because I know he went through all of them. So that's why he became, that's why to me, he probably became like the perfect wrestler, you know, overall, because he went through all the companies.
There you go. That's him right there.
Damn, when he had hair, man. The Texas rattlesnake.
Let me tell you, before he was a Texas rattlesnake, he was stunning Steve Austin. And he was the I believe the television champion in WCW, right?
Okay.
And the original Stone Cold Stunner was he'd pick you up and drop you over the top rope like a slingshot, and that's how he beat you. That was the original Stone Cold Stunner. And
but he did it the same way. Did he do it the same way? But it was
no, it was totally different. And
okay.
He had
damn Drew dropping gems, man.
New York Forever salute. And he was great at singles competition. He had a feud with Ricky Steamboat. And he used to come out with blonde hair. His gimmick, he was like he was a pretty boy. He was a pretty boy. And at one point he was managed by James J. Dillon. And he would headline at Starrcade. That was the WCW's version of WrestleMania.
Yes. I remember that. I remember
that.
And I wasn't around, but I remember Starrcade.
He was that dude. And he tag teamed with Flying Brian Pillman. And they had a team. Their tag team was called the Hollywood Blondes. And the way Austin tells the story is they were on a Japan tour. And he goes to splash a guy, one of the Japanese dudes off the top rope. The guy moves. When Austin lands, I think he broke his arm.
God.
And Eric Bischoff fired him over the phone. He fired him over the phone in Japan. He was like, wow. So then I'm watching ECW one day and he pops up. I said, oh shit, it's Stunning Steve Austin. And he had a Hulk Hogan gimmick in ECW. And he was purposely mocking Hulk Hogan. Purposely. He was one of the first A-listers that was still considered an A-lister to show up in ECW. Paul Heyman had a lot of connections with these guys, and Paul Heyman knew the business. And he would tell these guys, yo, look, come through here, work some shows, get some money, stay on your feet, and, But what we also noticed was that the budget for ECW was never on point. And that's a whole nother show in itself. And you're right, Pooh Man. Watch a salute. The Monday Night Wars began. Ted Turner purchased WCW and gave Eric Bischoff like $1 billion bag. That's why I laugh when I look at Eddie Hearn, because I said, man, this dude reminds me of Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff had a big ass budget and he just started buying wrestlers. And ECW became a farming system. When the guys would build their brand up in ECW, the bigger companies like the WWF and WCW, they looked at ECW, they say, okay, who's hot right now? Come fuck with us. And, wrestling is a business. It's like, yo, I'm popular here, but Paul Heyman's only paying me like maybe $1,500 a show, and Vince McMahon's offering me a contract and is willing to pay me $200,000 for 6 months of work. I mean, what are you going to do? You got a family to feed. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. So here's why I brought this up. ECW changed the game. It got very aggressive. It took wrestling and pointed wrestling in another direction. Because these guys were aggressive. They were cursing and spitting. Every fight, somebody's bleeding. The Sandman would come to the ring.
Bob wires. I would see Bob wires and
yeah,
and it was crazy. Yeah.
Man, like when I do the wrestling show again, there's a whole system of where ECW got their style from. It actually, some of the things came from Japan. I'm gonna do a whole thing on that.
Oh, right? Devon Dudley trained in Gleason's boxing gym? Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I always go over there to get some work. Like, really?
Now, hey, yo, listen. Devon's a street nigga too. He's a real dude, man. Devon's a real dude. I met him on a couple of occasions. I didn't know
that. All right, shout out to Thomas for that. Yeah. I didn't know that, Thomas.
Devon's real. He'll slap the fuck out you. He's a real dude. So these guys changed the game because they were underground. Similar to, you might be a good rock star or a rapper or a singer, right? You could be like black, right? And you could be like, you're a black singer or a rapper or whatever, and you could sell out like audiences all across the country. But if you can't rock the Apollo, we don't want nothing to do with you. You know what I'm talking about.
Talk to him.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk to him.
It don't matter. I don't give a fuck if you can go to Dallas, you can go to San Francisco, you can go to Florida. You can sell millions of records, but if you can't rock the Apollo, done. You can't rock the Apollo, we don't want to hear you. You understand?
It might still stand true. It might still stand true because you see what Mace and Cam did before they started their show. Remember how they had that, event over there? Yo, that joint was crazy. There was people from everywhere there. I was like, yo, I should have got a ticket. I felt bad about that. I should have took my sister. I should have took my sisters because they love Mace. My older sisters, that's like your age, they love Mace.
Those guys changed the game. That's what ECW was. They were underground. They fought. I went to see them in Philly. They used to fight up here at the Elks Lodge on Queens Boulevard. Complete fire hazard. All right. Sabu was my nigga. You know what I'm saying? That dude was crazy. I never seen nothing like that. This guy's jumping through tables for no reason. You understand? And I went to an event and Terry Funk flipped on Tommy Dreamer, and he jumped down into the rows and started throwing chairs. I said, this is not safe. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he's like really throwing chairs and people running and shit. He was going off. I said, all right, it's time to leave, man. Get the fuck out of here. I said, man, yo, bro. And listen.
Queen said Prince got booed at the Apollo.
That's crazy. Probably did.
I can't believe that. They seem like they would have liked it, but I can believe it. You know what? New York is a tough crowd.
Yo, it is. New York's a very tough crowd. So there were A-listers that came through ECW that the crowd didn't like. They were like, oh my God, here comes so-and-so, man, get out. They'd boo his ass. It was crazy. I could do a whole show on ECW alone. The talent that came out of it, the Eliminators, Cronus and Saturn. Never seen nothing like that. John Cronus was 300 pounds and he'd do a backflip in the ring.
That's crazy.
Herbie Saturn, the Eliminators, their finishing move, total elimination, never seen nothing like that. They had some guys come through there and they became a farming system. Oh, Jermaine, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. Y'all know I'm doing the wrestling show again. Yeah, Michael Ray. Mick Foley came through there as Cactus Jack. And they went and farmed him out because he was in WCW.
I was going to say, where did he start at? Where did he start at?
He had a whole other career in Japan. Then he came to WCW.
Yes.
Okay. Then he disappeared for a minute and he showed up in ECW. And then Vince went and got him out and threw a fucking helmet on him and called him Mankind. You understand? And it was crazy. It became a farming system. But Paul Heyman never had, the budget was fucked up and some people weren't getting paid. So when ECW started folding and Vince McMahon started taking the talent, he also bought them. That's when they all showed up in the WWF. But prior to that, the invasion. But prior to the first invasion was dope because Jerry Lawler showed up at an ECW event. It was crazy. That was the first time you saw crossover promotions out loud. It wasn't like a guy leaving one territory to go to another full time. Jerry Lawler just showed up. And he grabbed Sabu and Rob Van Dam because they were the heels, and he called Rob Van Dam Mr. Monday Night because Rob Van Dam's wrestling style, you've never seen that. Well, in America, you've never seen that. You've never seen him. He was doing shit that you was like, what? And the fact that he kind of resembled Jean-Claude Van Damme kind of helped his gimmick.
And he actually isn't related to him, y'all. I thought that as a little kid for years, and I finally Googled it. Related, right? Yeah. And that's not true. I thought somebody lied to me in school, Drew. They told me that was his cousin. That was like his first cousin, and I believed it.
Young Hollywood said
it wasn't true.
Young Hollywood said there's rumors that Vince he silently bought it. He probably did. He probably
scripted that whole thing. You know how Vince is.
Yeah. More than likely. Definitely. So what happened was, remember when I said wrestling got boring? ECW brought me back into it because it was more adult.
Okay.
And then what I'm saying is, because of ECW and Vince seeing the impact that ECW had with a limited budget, Vince said, imagine what I could do with the money I have. And then this happened.
All right, now we're getting close. Now I could really talk.
This is where it led to. The WWF Attitude Era was sparked by ECW. And that's the history. And then Vince also had competition with Eric Bischoff in that $1 billion bag given to him by Ted Turner. And that's when this happened. Now you'll see a lot of familiar people. You see the W boys over there?
Talk about the Drew. Don't be at me. Could we call this the golden age, or is this more? He said,
to me, this could be your golden
80s.
age. My golden age is the 80s, but this could be yours because this is impactful. Because this made people look and say, "Yo, you do this shit on TV?"
Michael Ray said no. He said that quick. He typed that quick. He said no. When I said if that was the golden, he said no. He said the 80s was everything.
The 80s was everything. This reignited wrestling because it forced the envelope. It made people say, "Yo, can they do this on TV?" You understand? Everybody got a second bite at the apple, and like I said, ECW became the farming system. What do you remember about this, the Attitude Era, the WWF?
Oh, man, let me tell you. One thing that I can say and that I remember, especially when everything became combined, that was so epic. For me as a little baby, man, like Lil Act running around, like to see all of them, like WCW and ECW, all of them combined, and ECW and WCW had to team up against the WWF because the WWF had a stacked roster already. So that's why these dudes joined forces against the WWF. And you seen people that were from the WWF that actually was beefing that had to come together. Yeah. They had everybody had to join together. Like, nah, we WWF. Like The Rock, Stone Cold. I remember Stone Cold was away for a while. And everybody in WWF was getting beat up. When I say they was getting beat up, you see Stone Cold in like every segment before a commercial hit. Like go to the back and start saving them. It was crazy. He was saving everybody with like a pole or whatever he would use. Like Stone Cold was like the leader because around that time, if you watch Stone Cold's documentary, he was just as big as Hulk Hogan. He broke all the records. Vince McMahon will tell you that. He broke all the records. I think maybe this is why I think what made Stone Cold a good and perfect wrestler, because he went through all of those, like the NWA. He went to ECW and then landed W. I think him going through all three of those major companies, that's what ended up making him perfect once he got to WWF. He said there's never been somebody that took everybody so fast that Stone Cold did. When he did the what? I think he first came to the WWF, the King of the Ring, in the King of the Ring match or pay-per-view or whatever. And then the next day, all you do, he said something about 316. I was too little. I don't remember exactly. Everybody the next day had 316 signs. Vince McMahon knew he was on to something. He didn't let Stone Cold. Stone Cold was basically his Earl Spence to Al Heyman around that time. Things
develop very quickly in wrestling. Sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle, and things happen by accident. Stone Cold Steve Austin has a very interesting career. From what I told you, how he got it, he broke his arm and got fired by Eric Bischoff over the damn phone, and he pops back up in ECW. When he first came to the WWF, he was the $1 Million champion ordained by Ted DiBiase, and his first gimmick was the ringmaster. And we knew who he was, and they just wanted to feel him out to see if he could beat Stunning Steve Austin, but as the ringmaster in the WWF. His finisher was the $1 Million Dream. That was Ted DiBiase's chokehold. It didn't work out, and he ends up in a match with Jake the Snake Roberts. And Jake the Snake was a born-again Christian because he had some trouble. And Stone Cold beat him. And Jake the Snake, when they brought him back, he was preaching some Jesus stuff, right? So at the end of the match, he grabs the mic and he says something like, all about this, all this Bible talk. He said, well, Austin 3:16 says, I just whooped your ass. And it caught on just like that. And that's what the 3:16 shirts was. He was clowning the Bible. But he was like,
okay. See,
right,
now
that's
what
what
you're saying,
was.
it makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
So next thing you know,
just like the what, you got to give us the what video one time. What? Because that also went triple viral.
Do you know how that happened? You know how that happened with the what?
Nah, how did that happen?
Yo, check this shit out. From what he said, yo, Mr. Mark, we was talking about that. Hell yeah. That's what I'm saying. I got to do more than one wrestling show. Hell yeah. All right. He said he was in the goddamn airport, right? And he was on the phone with Edge. And they had a bad connection. Right? And Edge kept saying something to him, and he was over the phone like, what? I can't hear you. What? Motherfuckers in the airport like, oh, that's Steve Austin. So, from what I understand, people started mocking him. What? The next Monday Night Raw, he started doing that shit. And it caught on. It's that simple.
And you think Stone Cold ain't a genius? I thought he was sitting here. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was a dummy and all of that. When I listened to him and his life story, I was like, this dude is actually smart. Like, I looked at him in a whole nother way. When you watch a documentary and you hear them talk on the interviews and stuff like that, I was like, yo, he knew what he was doing. I'm thinking that he just a redneck, beer drinking Texan. You know what I mean? There was a method to his madness with his schemes and everything that he did. Like, I didn't realize how smart he was. He went to college and all of that. I didn't know that. He went to actually a good college too, on top of that.
Yeah, he was sharp.
You know what I'm saying?
But what I remember about this era was the cliques and the gangs. You had the Nation of Domination. You had
don't forget about the Brood, Edge, Christian, and Gangrel.
The Brood was dope. The Brood was dope. DX, of course, and then
the Rock and Sock connection. This was formed. The Attitude Era was spun off of ECW. There was a shoot in the ring with Paul Heyman and Vince. And some of it is scripted, but a lot of it comes from truth. Because there was a part during the shoot where he got in Vince McMahon's face. He said something to the effect of, I worked so hard, and then I created my brand, and then you start this thing called Attitude? And he took his hat off and threw it in his chest. He said, I'm going to show you Attitude. And that's when they had the ECW crossover. It was out loud now. But it was dope. But what happened was they were also feuding every Monday night with WCW. Remember, I just said Eddie Hearn reminds me of Eric Bischoff. Eddie Hearn got that $1 billion bag from that Russian for DAZN. And the first thing he did was he tried to buy up all the PVC fighters, and it didn't work. Right? This is what Eric Bischoff tried to do. So what he started doing, he got a lot of the old talent, right? The known guys to go to WCW. So that's when you saw Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan. And like a lot of guys went over there. So they had the talent. They had the quantity of guys, but they didn't have quality. The storyline sucked. Hogan was there and he was the baby face and he's beating everybody up. He's beating up the Dungeon of Doom, and it's like the same old shit. Vince McMahon made stars. He had some old school guys that knew the business, but he reformatted them and he made stars. Shawn Michaels went from
the Midnight Rockers to the boy toy. He was a star. Triple H emerged and became a star, right? The Rock, aka Flex Cabana. Do y'all remember when he was Flex Cabana?
Wait, that was with the Rock? I thought it was. I only remember him up to Rocky Maivia.
He was Flex Cabana before that.
God damn.
And Rocky Maivia, you know, he's the last name of his grandfather, whom I've met.
That
so
was
they
his
were
mom's,
building things.
That was his mom's dad?
Rocky Johnson is his father. Rocky Johnson married Peter Maivia's daughter.
Okay.
So Peter Maivia is his grandfather. High Chief Peter Maivia.
Okay.
So he took his father's name and his grandfather's last name and merged it. He came to the WWF as Rocky Maivia. But before that, he was on the independent circuit and he was calling himself Flex Cabana.
Okay.
So Vince McMahon, although the WCW had quantity stuff, but they didn't have good quality. It was the same old shit. So they just brought up everything, and I was like, it sucks. I like the WWF better. Until something happened in the WWF. When they were going through their changes, two men contract was up. Diesel, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, and Razor Ramon. They leave. And they pop up in WCW as the Outsiders. And they went by their government names, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. They were running around in the back and jumping people and beating their ass. Right? They were beating their ass, jumping them, beating them up, fucking them up. And I believe all the baby faces got together and they said, look, man, these two guys, they're a problem. We're going to have to fuck them up.
And they wasn't small dudes either on top.
Nah. Scott
Kevin Nash was, how tall was Kevin Nash? I think he was like 7 foot.
7 feet. Yeah, he's like 7 feet tall. So Bash at the Beach, they start beating on Randy Savage. They jumping him. They beating on him. Hulk Hogan comes out. They're like, oh shit, he's gonna even the odds now. He gets in the ring and starts leg dropping Randy Savage. Them niggas never got along. Stop the cap. Hogan turns heel.
Yes, I watched that. I don't remember it, but I watched it. What was it? Bash at the Beach? What was it? It was one
Bash
of them
at the Beach.
Okay. And it was like, we're gonna bring in a new member. This one they had the NWO. And nobody.
And then, listen.
That was a good script.
I'm telling you, Hogan was wrestling in the 80s. This heel turn was unlike anything you've ever seen in your life. Now, when he started his career, he was a heel. No one remembers that. We're talking about the late 70s and the late 70s. In the 80s, after the Rocky movie, he was like America's sweetheart. This heel turn changed everything. All of a sudden, I remember getting phone calls. Yo, Hogan just turned to a bad guy. I said, what? That shit made the news act. It made the news. The news. This is the guy that headlined WrestleMania I. He turned heel 25 years later. What was it? That was like
and became Hollywood Hogan on your ass.
Man, listen. This run right here. This changed everything. And this is what started the Monday Night Wars. It got bad because it's like Hogan is now in a new promotion. It's like, WWF is like, we've been there, done that already.
Nitro. That was Nitro.
That's like, we've been there, done that already. Now he's over there doing the same shit. It's like, man, we winning over here. We got younger talent. We building stars. We done did the Hulk Hogan thing already. We good. And then he turned heel, and then this happened. This was huge. This was huge. Everybody was turning on Monday Night Raw like, yo, what's going on? He's wearing black now. He's beating people with chairs. You know what I'm saying? He's cursing out the audience. He's wearing shades. He's walking around with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. They beating people up. And it got bigger and bigger. There was an NWO Japan. Do you know that?
Nah, that's crazy. I didn't even.
All the A-list wrestlers in Japan.
I didn't know it went past the Wolfpack.
Oh, bro. No. All the A-list wrestlers in Japan, they went there and recruited them. There's a whole NWO Japan, the Great Muta, Masahiro Chono. I'm going to do a show about that. Damn. All the A-list wrestlers over there. The NWO invaded over there. It was crazy. And this is what started like the Monday Night Wars. But let me point this out. Much like Eddie Hearn found out, it's not about quantity. It's about quality. Because sooner or later, this also jumped the shark. That's a phrase that y'all may or may not know. Jump the shark. It was hot. When it was hot, it was on.
Yes. Yes.
What they did, they made the WWF smash the gas. They started their own cliques. That's when you saw Degeneration X come about. Nation of Domination.
You had dudes like X-Pac leave over there. And like you were saying earlier, you brought up a good point. To where he was bad mouthing Hulk Hogan and stuff, talking about he couldn't cut the mustard. And, you know what I mean? And he talked about it when he joined DX.
They were beefing out loud.
Yes.
And you've never seen that. And let me tell you something else. Let me tell you what they was
I
really.
remember that. I do.
Let me tell you how dirty. Let me tell you how dirty. Yeah, Brian H. That term came from Happy Days. Jump the shark. Yup. Let me tell you how dirty WCW was. Monday Night Raw used to be pre-recorded. And they would have somebody at the show writing down everything that happened, and they would call Bischoff because Monday Nitro was live. And they would go on 5 to 10 minutes earlier before Nitro. And Bischoff would be in the ring telling people the ending of Raw. If you want to see the same old clowns, The Rock is going to win. And I'm like, oh, shit. The Rock is going to win. And it's the same old trash. I'm like, yo, that's dirty. And the dirtiest thing I ever seen was Rick Rude was on Nitro and Raw at the same time. And that was when Vince
he was
said,
the Flash.
Go live
he
now.
was the Flash.
Yo, bro.
He was two places at once.
Let me tell you how it happened. Do you remember when he was the insurance man for Degeneration X? And he come out with the suit?
Yes.
He'd go, I am an insurance man. Anybody can purchase the policy if they can afford the premium. And he came out with them. Well, I'm watching him one night. And then I turned to Nitro, and he's walking out with the NWO. I said, what the fuck's going on? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Drew,
My bad.
Drew, what? You went past?
Nah, my man, Trill Will ain't wrench. I had the other screen up. Salute. I got him.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Wakanda.
Okay.
So,
and Drew, don't forget to talk about how Ric Flair got blackballed over here. You know, I love Ric Flair, though. Even though Ric Flair is Drew's time, I'm always gonna be pro Ric Flair. I like Hogan's cool, but Ric Flair, I like dudes that can cut promos. So that's the type of y'all see what type of dude I am. I'm a real Harlem dude. I like dudes that can cut the promo and talk
Ric Flair had swag,
ish.
bro.
That ish.
Ric Flair had swag, man. Ric Flair's swag was uncanny.
Eric Bischoff didn't know what he had.
He really
didn't know what he had.
But he fired him, but they made him bring him back.
Yes.
And he shot on him. And he
said
shot
that
on him
was
on live
real.
TV.
The promo
it was real.
that he was saying about him,
it was real.
I would thought it was fake. But they said that Ric Flair really, that animosity that he had, And Eric Bischoff told him, "Yo, keep it like that, because it's gonna be good ratings." You know what I mean?
Hey,
He said like, but he really hated it. But
hey, bro, listen. Getting back to hold on, let me pull this off. Hold on.
He said, "No good son of a." He said, "Flair said you are no good son of a bitch."
Hey, bro.
Michael Ray remember as the second. Remember everything.
Hey, bro. Listen. Wait, I'm trying to find something. Wait. Hold on.
That's why I want to see that Iron Claw movie. I remember that I watched Ric Flair's greatest promos, and that thing when he said, "When you're a man, you take the ups and downs. When you're a real man, you never go. You always stay up. You never go down." You know what I'm saying? I got Ric Flair. I want to see that movie now.
All right, so check it out. Hell yeah. So check it out. I'm watching it. Rick Rude's on 2 fucking networks.
That's crazy.
Because Raw is re-recorded. That was the final straw. And Vince said, "Yo, we got to go live because these bastards got people buying tickets to come watch our shit, and they're literally reporting back to Eric Bischoff what we're about to do." So they had to go live. And there's a whole lot of things in between that I left out intentionally. You know, there's the Bret Hart, you know, the Montreal Screwjob. I have time to get in all of that. But let me go. I'm pointing out why this is important. The NWO shit, it became oversaturated. It oversaturated wrestling. It got old in like 3 years. The NWO got too big. And eventually WCW folded. And we're watching one night in the final WCW event. Shane McMahon showed up on live air. It was crazy. And the gimmick was Shane McMahon bought WCW. And then that's when the WCW wrestlers started flying over into, like, I remember Booker T just popped up on Raw and jumped Steve Austin and threw him through a table.
Sucker!
Yeah, that was funny.
I knew he wasn't from Harlem. He's from Houston.
Nah, he's from Texas, man.
Yeah, he's from Houston.
He's from Houston, Texas, man. But that was my guy. And these guys started showing up, right? Now, the WWF got out of control, and Vince just got pissed off, and he had like this meltdown. And he says, "You know what? I started this company. I'm gonna destroy it." And then he turns around in the seat, and there's an NWO symbol on the seat. He said, "I'm gonna destroy it with the NWO." And the 3 originals, the 3 amigos show up. And it was groundbreaking because all 3 of these guys returned back to where they got their major push in wrestling from. Their big push, where they made millions. So this was huge. And it all led up to this. This right here was it. This was my era versus your era, Act. This was it right here.
I like how Drew said that. Well said.
This was it.
Well said, bro. He said this was my era versus you ain't lying, because when I think of my era, I think of the Rock. Even though Stone Cold technically is from really your era, but he wasn't so yet.
Right. I appreciate.
You know what I mean? You told me that all the transitions that he went through.
Right. I remember him as a like a co-main eventer, stunning Steve Austin. I respect Stone Cold, and he was in the mix with this because he was running around. He fought Scott Hall, and everyone was like, "Yeah, man, what if he fights Scott Hall now?" And that all of that happened. But this right here, they were really pushing the Rock. And what better way to pass the torch? Like how Andre the Giant passed the torch to Hogan. Hogan passed the torch to The Rock this night. This night. and this was Hulk Hogan, he turned back into the Hulk Hogan that I remember, because when he became the leader of the NWO,
when he started hulking up when you hit him,
yo, bro, bro,
and then he put the finger in front of your face.
He did that. He did that to The Rock. That was, listen, let me tell you something.
Hulk Hogan is an idiot.
Let me tell you something. When Hulk Hogan became NWO, he became a bit of a loudmouth and a bit of a coward, but that was the character. When this happened, he turned into the old Hulk Hogan from the 80s. And number one rule in wrestling, and Jermaine Jubilee will tell you this, you're not supposed to kick out of the finisher. That's disrespect. That'll get your ass kicked in the back.
Yes. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. If I do the finisher
Hogan
to you, that means you lost. Even if we didn't put it in the script.
Right. I think he hit Hogan with it was probably with the people's elbow or a rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to pin him. Hogan kicks out of the finisher and starts hulking up. Yo, me and my boys was in the living room. It was 1985 all over again. We was like, oh shit. Yo, we went crazy. He kicked out of the finisher and he saw us going around the ring and hulking up. We was like, oh shit. And then The Rock hit him and he pointed at him. He was like, you. I was like, oh shit. It was crazy. And The Rock was The Rock, bro. He hit him with 2 rock bottoms and finished him. And they shook hands, and Hall and Nash came out and flipped on him, and then he turned into, the red and yellow Hulk Hogan again. But it was great. Jesse Lake says there's no way Vince paid SD Jones $150K to job WrestleMania 1. Bundy was paid $50 to lose the main event, Mania 2. I don't believe that for 1 second. This is what the man told me, bro. This is what he told me.
Look, if we going, not to get off course, but remember what they said the Axeman got, and then what he got on the back end, and he on the island somewhere. We never seen the Axeman again. That's what I'm saying.
Now,
he got lost.
Let me go back to this. In all fairness, my numbers could be wrong. I do know he said 6 figures. I do know he said none of the main eventers, like Tito Santana, Ricky Steamboat, they didn't want to do it. They didn't want a job. I do know that they said that. I do know he said he bought that house. I could have it backwards. The house may have been worth $150K and he bought it. I could have it wrong, but I do know he said he did mention 6 figures. That I do know. So the information could be jumbled up, but I do know he did mention 6 figures. That I do know. And he got paid more than he got paid at the end of the day a lot more than a lot of people that performed on that card. And that was because he jobbed. So whether his numbers are wrong or I'm misquoting the numbers, I do recall him mentioning 150K. I do recall him that. So I don't know. That's up to you. I don't know. I know he did mention buying that whole goddamn house in Mount Vernon and not worried about food. That I do know. So yeah, man. Thomas says Bundy at the time thought he was getting a lot, but he didn't know Hogan got paid $500,000 for WrestleMania 2. Look, I don't know.
You got to think about the time. What is equivalent to now? Because when I looked up that 100,000, it was like another 100,000 more compared to now.
yeah, true. God damn.
It was like 285, past a little bit of $250,000.
He says he would not have paid fucking SD Jones $150K. No way. He didn't have it. Vince didn't she extra money back then. Brother, look, I wasn't
Vince
there.
Always had money. Yeah, I think.
I just said. Thomas just said Hulk Hogan got paid $500,000. Of course he had the money.
And that was
look,
that
brother,
was part, and that was only two.
Look, Vince had money, bro. I don't know. Look, like I said, I could be wrong on the numbers. I know SD Jones told me 6 figures. I know that. The man told me he bought a whole fucking house outright in Mount Vernon. And he said, oh, a bag of money. You know what I'm saying? And he said, tell no one I gave you this. Because Tito Santana wouldn't do it. Ricky Steamboat wouldn't do it. And one more person I'm forgetting. JYD wouldn't do it. JYD wouldn't do it. Because they said, yo, look, we have a brand. You know what I'm saying? So he had money. Now, I don't know if it was... I know he said after the event, he was paid. And then after the event, he gave him another bag of money. Like off the record type shit. And I know he said 6 figures. I know that. But I'm not there. I can't tell what I can't. I'm not gonna call the man a liar. I'm just telling you what he told me in the gym years ago, back in 2000. That's it. I mean, it's nothing to debate about. I mean, it is. If you believe it or not, it's up to you. But the man got paid. The man bought a house. That's what he told me. He told me that. That's what he told me personally. We were just talking wrestling. The conversation that I was really having with him was, what was the atmosphere like for being black and being a wrestler? You know, traveling the road, because some territories are good, and then sometimes you're in the Midwest or the South, and you know how it is. Look, bro, I don't want to get into that. You know what I'm saying? The money generated and shit like that. I don't know. I was not there. I'm just telling you what SD told me. I was not there. I'm telling you what the man told me. I was not there. I don't know. But that's not the point of the show. All right, this is a reminisce show. So, this moment right here was the passing of the guard, man. And I had fun watching this. I felt like I was 10 years old all over again, man. And this was great. Now, you watched this fight, right, Act?
Yes, I remember this fight. Yes, I remember it.
What was your reaction when you watched this?
I did look at it like the old timers versus new time. You right about that. That's why I said you broke that down kind of perfectly. Like it was like your era versus my era. You know, some people some people that even like Hulk Hogan and that like Ric Flair. It's always been that battle between and when it comes to my older brothers and sisters, Drew. It's always that battle between Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. Ric Flair is always in the mix, you know. So when I think of the old era, I do think of Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, and I definitely think this match right here was that Attitude Era versus the golden age of boxing, as you would call it. You know what I mean? And it definitely was that. And one thing that I do remember, I remember a changing of the guard, and I did look at it as a passing of the torch. You know,
absolutely.
It kind of even reminds me when I got a little bit older, when Randy Orton and I was still really young, but Randy Orton and what's my man name? I'm thinking Brock Lesnar. Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Yeah. He came, and how Stone Cold hated Brock Lesnar. I didn't know that until I got grown. I said, why did he hate him so much? I started watching the documentary. He said, yeah, I would take a fall for The Rock to have the belt because me and The Rock built the era. He's like, but I wasn't willing to do that for Brock Lesnar. And I was like, damn, like, why you was so hard on Brock Lesnar? Like, Stone Cold really did not like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I understand that this business is like that, man.
I didn't know it was that competitive. I thought everybody had to understand it.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you got to put someone over, you're sacrificing what you could be potentially in the future. So it's like if you on a roll and the booker says, yo, look, man, I need you to put this guy over. It's like, man, I really think I'm gonna get a title shot at I want to be somebody. And it's like, damn, do you do what's in your best interest, or do you do what's in the best interest of the company? You know what I mean? So But it is what it is. Jesse Lake said he had money after Mania, but not before. Earlier in the program, good brother, I said that SD was paid, and then after the event, Vince gave him a bag of money, according to him. But I could just be talking shit, right? I'm just saying.
He said Brock Lesnar is the best to do it. You got to read that comment, Drew. I don't know about that. That's disrespectful.
I don't know, bro. But
bro, they told me that Mr. Perfect, old Mr. Perfect suplexed him on the plane. Because they both from Minnesota.
It's a matter of perception, bro. It's a matter of perception. Some people have different errors. Now, let me address Jesse Lakes, bro. I'm not here to debate. I'm not here to debate it. I'm just telling you about a conversation I had with a wrestler that's passed on. That's all I'm saying. Now, was he lying about the numbers? I don't know. I'm just telling you what he told me. Now, the conversation was from 2000 in a gym. We was working out. And we just got to talking. And he told me and I asked him about WrestleMania I. I said, man, why did they have to do the brothers like that? And he said, I didn't mind. I got paid. And then after the event, Vince came to him with a bag of money. Those were his words, not mine. And I said, well, how much? And he says, well, I bought a house outright. I bought a house outright. And I heard him say 150,000 cash. Now, was that in total? Did he make that for the year? Altogether? Maybe I misheard it. Maybe I misinterpreted it, but I did hear him say 150K. Now, Jesse Lakes, you could be right. He probably didn't give him 150K. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I misheard it, but I'm telling you, he mentioned 150K. Now, whether he got it that day or that night or over a year, I don't recall the particulars, but I know he said 150K. I know he said he bought a house right up here somewhere in Mount Vernon, somewhere up here, New Rochelle, somewhere. And that was it. But we wasn't even stuck on that. He answered the question, and then we just started talking about what it is to be black in the sport. I brought up a lot of black wrestlers. Do y'all remember a guy named George Wells? He had a football gimmick. He talked to me about him. Bobo Brazil. All of those guys, man. But, look, I'll go watch that documentary. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, salute. Have you seen this video, Act?
Is that the one where he said, "Hey Hogan, we coming for you, nigga"? I'm 50. He like trying to he hit his.
Yo, hold on.
The only click you need to know about is the Harlem Heat and Sister Sherry. See, because what you dealing with here is the brotherhood. It's non-stop from this point on in WCW. We take what we want, and after we take Lex Luger and the Giant, we want the gold sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
Yo, run that back one more time. Fair use. You know how the WWF do. This is definitely for educational.
And the time we want the gold sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
You see Mean G face. Yo, rest in peace to Mean G, yo. Peace be upon Mean G, for real, man. Yo, his face is priceless.
How the fuck did Stevie Ray just stand there? Oh!
Point out for the record.
Yo, they try to go over that. They try to cover that up quick, bro.
Oh!
Oh, that was
Oh
funny.
my God.
I forgot. Yeah, why would you? And then you played it at the time, like you kind of threw me off because I didn't expect you to play that video. You a fool,
Bro.
You a fool. He
Oh
said,
my God.
Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
Oh my God.
You see
Oh,
when
shit.
she hit him? She was like,
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's funny. That was funny.
Yo, salute the pool, man. I know Derek Gaines in the building, man. Salute to my guys.
Salute to y'all,
tomorrow.
man.
We on tomorrow, man. You know what I'm talking about, Drew. Best
Yes,
educational programming. A lot of people had something to say already in your bracket. Reading Rainbow, Schoolhouse Rock. I had to look up what Schoolhouse Rock was.
Yeah, the look of Schoolhouse Rocks. Oh man, I grew up on that.
Know.
So Jesse Lake says Vince did not have tons of money until after WrestleMania 1. He put all his money into WrestleMania 1. I don't know why people act like they know about something when they don't. LOL.
Oh, okay. See, man, you kind of now you getting bored
Jesse,
a lot.
Jesse.
You get bored. This is a peaceful show.
Come on, bro.
We don't come.
Come on, bro.
See, if you want war, you come to the boxing channel. We used to that.
Come on, bro. Come
this
on, bro.
This is a peaceful channel.
We
all having a good time.
We're having fun over here.
You slide. He let you slide 3. He let you slide 3 times. I don't know after the 3rd strike.
Come on, bro. We having fun over here. We're having fun over here. Let me be clear. Again, even in your statement, Vince did not have tons of money until after WrestleMania 1. When did I say SD told me he gave him that bag of money? It was after the event.
He did. Yup, he did.
I said after the event. SD never specified a time. He never specified a time. He never said whether it was directly after. He just said he got paid, and then after he gave him a bag of money. He didn't specify whether it was in the locker room or come to my office next week. He didn't specify. He said after the event, he was given additional money. He didn't specify. So in your statement, you could be right. After WrestleMania 1, when he got a major return on his investment, SD said he gave him additional funds. On top of what he paid him, he gave him additional funds. When you get additional funds? After. So after Vince got his bag, SD told me he gave him additional funds in a bag. That's all he told me. Now, maybe it wasn't 150 in the bag. I might have that wrong. I just said that. Maybe it was 150 spread out over a year. But I know he told me he bought a house in Mount Vernon, and he did mention something about $150,000. That's all I said. I don't even want to talk about numbers. We're having fun here, brother. Relax. We're having fun here.
Michael Ray II. I know his grandfather even had money for his dad.
Yeah,
so,
look,
you know what I mean? If you watch the documentary, he wasn't stop, bro. Stop acting like Vince just arrived. Bro,
sometimes
that dude capping.
Vince takes a risk. Businessmen take risks, and he probably did dump a lot of money in WrestleMania 1. But he got a major return on his investment, and we're now up to what? WrestleMania, like what? 50 something? I don't even know what number they up to. It's all good. It's all good. Shit, y'all clapped him?
Yeah.
Don't unhide him.
Shout out to Drew for being a good dude. Shout out to Drew for being a good dude.
Derek, unhide him. You ain't gotta clap him. Unhide him. It's okay. Sometimes people get a little passionate. Unhide him. You ain't gotta clap him. Unhide him. It's okay. We're having fun here. We're having fun here. That's what it is. We shouldn't have to, do that. Sometimes people get a little passionate. It's okay, bro. It's okay. And my only point was, SD did tell me after the event, Vince gave him a bag. not a check. He gave him a bag full of money. And I remember him mentioning 150K. Now, I don't know if it was in the bag or it was, I'm paying you this to job the Bundy, and then here's the additional money, and it equaled 150. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I was told after the event. Hold on, let me go unhide him.
See, Drew a good dude, man. See, y'all be thinking Drew is 7'8" is good dudes, man. Cause I got tolerance for these dudes, man. If people on my channel be whacking these dudes, they whack them. Unless it's like something like that's debate worthy. You know what I mean? But I'm learning from my OGs. You gotta have patience. You gotta have patience, and it's okay, man. We here to have fun. Jesse Lakes, we here to have fun. WrestleMania 40, he said, is in.
And we had WrestleMania 40. God damn.
God, yeah, dang, Drew.
Damn. But we here to have fun, man. We here to kick up our feet and just talk shit. You know what I mean? That's all. And I'm only talking about what I was told. It was a conversation I had back in 2000, but I do recall him saying,
Thomas said Drew was a jerk. Don't sleep. Y'all stupid, yo.
Jimmy Bernard says WrestleMania has always been in April. I think the WrestleMania 1 was in March. I think it was in March.
It was in March?
I think it was in March. Yeah, I think the first one was in March. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Jesse Lakes, just chill.
He said the Royal Rumble's tomorrow. Let me say something about that, Drew, real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
Why has the female Royal Rumble in this era right now, in my era right now, why the female Royal Rumble is better? It's crazy. Like, I'm more into... I stumbled upon that by accident. Me, Red, all the guys was watching that in the back. Because, I think the females, they have their own Royal Rumble now. I remember even when I was growing up, it wasn't enough women for you to do that. It wasn't enough women for you to do that. And probably your era is even more scarce. It probably was just...
it was very scarce.
Mae Young.
It was very scarce. It was very scarce, man. It was very scarce.
Young.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Japanese female wrestlers?
No.
Bro.
You gotta send me, yo,
bro, they fight like dudes, bro.
Text me.
They're like dudes. They are like dudes, man. They scrap. I'm gonna do a whole show about New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Japan Pro Wrestling. It's not a game over there, bro. Do you know Power Warrior, aka Kensuke Sasaki? When Animal got hurt and he had to hang up wrestling for a couple of years, Hawk went to Japan and Kensuke Sasaki became the new member of LOD. He's a diesel Japanese dude. Called himself the Power Warrior. Yeah. And he was no fucking joke. Man, that guy, look, the Steiners had a run over there in Japan. I mean, these guys.
I remember Big Papa Pump. I remember Scott. I don't remember Rick so much.
Pump, before he was Big Papa Pump, he was Scott Steiner, and he could go, bro. He could go, man. He was super talented. Super talented. I mean, he could go. He could go, man. And that was wrestling. I remember watching the Steiner brothers versus Hiroshi Hase and Kensuke Sasaki. Bro. I gotta
Jesse
just
Lakes, you better subscribe now. You better subscribe, like, and share, because Drew is a forgiving man from the Bronx. I don't know too many forgiving men from the Bronx. Most of them I know is from an area called Cortland Ave, and they're dangerous. You don't go there. Don't go there. I promise you, don't go there.
Hey, look, man. I'm in my older age now. I'm on a like different type of time this year, and I'll just say I'm a judo expert, and I move different. And Jesse Lakes, I can tell you know a lot, and I'm giving you permission to feel free. If there's any information as far as wrestling is concerned that you can assist in, feel free to type it. It's all good. It's all good, bro. Because accuracy is more important to most people than others. I'm trying to focus on the fun of things. I might get a year wrong. I might have the money wrong. I don't know. But I'm just telling you about a conversation I had with the wrestler that was involved. But the point is, we're here to have fun and kick our feet up. We're not here to like debate and argue and shit like that. We're just sitting around eating hot wings and drinking beer and farting and doing what men do. You know what I mean? So, you know, kick your feet up and enjoy the program and just have fun, man. That's all. And I could tell Jesse, I could tell you love wrestling. So I'm going to revisit wrestling just for you. You know what I'm saying?
Thomas, why you going there, Thomas?
Yeah, man. Nah, Jesse's all right. He's passionate. Jesse's all right. Jesse's all right.
Yeah, because he said I wouldn't have listened if I didn't like it. He said he liked it. So see, guys, he's off the gas pedal a little bit. He said he liked the conversation. That's why he
it's cool.
All right.
It's cool. It's cool.
See, Drew was right.
It's cool. Everybody's cool. We having a good time. Yeah, I know about the backyard wrestling movement. That caught a little. That caught Thomas. Shut the fuck up. He said Barry Horowitz. Stop it. He said Barry Horowitz. Stop it, bro. Stop. I know about the backyard wrestling movement. That was like a blink of an eye, and I think they did.
Okay.
It did so well that they actually put a video game out with those guys in it. I don't know if they paid those wrestlers. I believe in the video game were real people. I don't know if they got paid for that shit, but that was like an underground thing. I think they sold DVDs. Backyard wrestling, it was totally unsafe. My nigga was OG Hoagie Dog. That was funny as hell, but that shit, they jumping through, they lighting tables on fire in their backyard and jumping through the table. I was like, God damn. Please relax, man. Please relax. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good.
Who did the best promos? All right, before you go, yeah. I have to ask you that. Who did the best promos? I don't care if it was like that you ever seen. I don't care if it's WWF or NWA, because I know that's your era.
The best promo?
Era. To be honest, the best promos. Who? Was it Ric Flair or was it somebody else?
I'm going to throw you off with this one.
I'm
going to throw you off with this one. The best promos that, like the best mic skills that made you believe they were going to do what they were going to do.
Yeah.
It was
not necessarily God make you do what they was going to do, but that was very entertaining. I'm coming from an entertaining aspect because they are entertainers.
Jake Roberts.
Okay.
Jake Roberts. Yeah. No, Jake Roberts was he made you believe that he was the ultimate villain. He made you believe.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's a lot of guys. I like Don Morocco. His mic skills. It was pretty good.
Joseph Wiggins, he agreed with me. He said Ric Flair hands down.
Yeah,
see, but I'm talking about Drew's Ric Flair. Drew's era Ric
Flair. That 80s
that version. I ain't gonna lie. They need to invent time machine so I could go get a ticket. You know
bro.
What I mean?
Let me tell you. Dusty Rhodes was
Derek
brilliant.
Gaines, I'm surprised you picked somebody from the Attitude Era and you in Drew's generation. You picked The Rock.
Yeah. Yo, listen, man. Let me wrench up Jesse.
Look. This the only reason why I say this. I'm talking about like I had this DVD where it had all Ric Flair's promos, and like to hear him talk, how he was talking, I thought he was from Harlem for a second, a white boy from Harlem. like, yo, wheeling, dealing, and we gonna be at the top flight hotel. And James J. Dillon in the back hyping him up. Like I like the James J. Dillon. That's the type of manager. James J. Dillon was. He said, "And we gonna raise the roof."
Yo, wait a minute. I remember back in the day, right? I had this girlfriend, right? And I had a cold. I was getting over a cold, and my voice was really fucked up. And she was doing something, and she was really pissing me off, right? And it was like a social setting. I was getting over a bad cold, and she was just nagging me. And my boys was just sitting there, and she was just talking. And I looked at her, and I said some shit to her, and my voice was low. And I looked over at my... I looked over at my friends, and they was laughing at me so hard they had tears coming down their face. I said, "Nigga, what? What's wrong with y'all?" He said, "Yo, the whole time you was talking to her, nigga, you sound like Randy Savage." He was like,
Randy Savage has, he also.
I said, "What are you talking about? Why are you bothering me? I told you I'm showing up at 3 o'clock, and you're not getting
it. Just like
I've been sitting here, You've been sitting here the whole time, and now you're bothering me. You know my throat hurts. Please, shut your mouth! I don't feel like talking right now." And I look over at my boys. They were like, "Oh, shit, nigga, you sound like Randy Savage."
Derek Gaines said, "My shoes cost more than your house." That's exactly Ric Flair. He said, "And not only could you not walk in these shoes, you can't afford them." I was like, yo, Ric Flair is a fool. He was a fool, yo.
He said, "Hey, Dusty, this is a Rolex. You get your gear from Kmart, buddy."
He said, "You're not custom made like me. Now everybody could be custom made." And I was like, yo, Ric Flair is crazy, yo. He was out of control.
Let me show y'all one thing before we get out of here. Hold on. Let me show y'all one thing. I had people gassed. Wait, hold on.
He said, "Ack looks like a small, too cold scorpion." Scorpino. Who's that?
Stop!
Who's that? Who the hell is that? Who the hell is that? I gotta look that up. Who the hell is that, Thomas? Thomas, that's messed up, man. You're supposed to be my Uptown family. Now I gotta look that up. Who the hell is that? I'm going on Google right now. I'm looking him up now. He said he was nice. I don't know who he is.
I'm gonna show y'all this. Let me show you how I got people back in the day. Show you how I got people back in the day. I saw someone mention the natural Butch Reed. This is how I got people back in the day. Those Reed boys got some great genes. Reed is my government last name. So when Butch Reed, when I learned about Butch Reed,
I do not look like him, bro. Stop, bro. Stop, bro.
Oh, man.
Stop.
I came to school. I said, "Yeah, man, Butch Reed's my uncle." They're like, "You lying." Fuck no. No relation. But goddamn it, we got some good genes, don't we?
Yeah, I ain't even gonna front because I could tell I could tell homeboy, he that's that
Butch
80s.
Reed, brother. There's Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. They were Doom. That was the tag team back in WCW. Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. Yo,
see, Thomas, I ain't never gonna forgive you. Next fight we link up. I ain't never gonna forgive you. I ain't never gonna forgive you for that. I'ma always remember this. I ain't never gonna forget. Harlem dudes don't forget nothing. I ain't never gonna forgive you for that.
But yo, man, let them know they can find you, brother. What you got popping tomorrow?
Yeah. Tomorrow, man, we got the best educational children's programming. It don't matter what era. If you in the chat, yo, subscribe to Comic Cons. That's KOMIC KONZ. Comic Cons. Best educational. I already see people in the chat talking about, oh, you don't know about Mr. Rogers, and oh, you don't know about Schoolhouse Rock, and oh, you don't know about Reading Rainbow or Bob Ross. They making a movie about Bob Ross. You gotta remember, I got older brothers and sisters that's like 40 plus.
Bob Ross is that dude,
brothers
man.
And sisters. So
Bob Ross is that dude, man, for real, man. Yeah, hell yeah, man. But we gonna be tuning in to Comic Cons. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my brother Ack on Comic Cons.
1 p.m. tomorrow, man. Please subscribe,
yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir. And we'll be back next Friday. You know what I'm saying? If boxing keeps sucking ass, I'll be doing this program more than once a week, man.
Yeah. You can hit me up.
Hell yeah. No doubt, man. Thank you for swinging through.
No problem, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because we gotta. I'm not talking about Jaime. You know, a lot of y'all is in the boxing circuit too. I ain't talking about Jaime and John Ryder. There's no need. It's not for a belt. I think a female event the week before was more important than this. Or Michaela Mayer and Natasha Jonas. So, yeah, I'm not, you know what I mean? Catch me on my other channel, man. And you know what? I appreciate y'all, man. And make sure y'all also subscribe to the Jab Jamboree. He says Schoolhouse Rock. Here he go, Derek Gaines with Schoolhouse Rock. I'm going to look it up, man. I'm going to look that up, too.
Hell yeah, man. Salute, no doubt, Jesse Lakes, man. Well, no, it's all right. It's all right, Jesse. Listen, when I do wrestling again, I have a panel, please. You're more than welcome to come on. And I'm sure you'll bring a lot to the conversation. I'm sure there's a lot I can learn from you. I can tell you're passionate. And listen, one thing you'll know about me, I never claim to know everything, ever. I never claim to know anything. I am not above being corrected. And yeah. When we revisit wrestling, I might have to have an open panel. Man, because there's so much that everyone could bring, man. And it's fun, man. Wrestling was a part of my childhood. And to see The Rock versus Hogan, man, that brought me back, man. But salute to y'all. And like and share the video, man. We had fun, man. And I'm loving Fridays more and more. And we're going to be back in the cave next week. Maybe more. Salute to y'all.